Nistas. So we just got back from our first time flying Spirit with toddlers yesterday, a day early because of the government shutdown. So in this video, I'm going to get into a little recap of flying Spirit with toddlers and how we navigated the government shutdown and all of that. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Paige. I'm the creator of Pack Snacks First, a channel where I share all of my tips, tricks, and hacks about traveling with toddlers. Okay, so first let's talk about our flight leaving Chicago. So our flight to Tampa left Chicago on Monday at about 2 p.m., which is kind of tricky because it's about post-nap time, and I was hoping that the kids would just sleep in the car and then maybe sleep on the flight there. They did sleep in the car a little bit, which is about like a 45 minute drive. But then that was good that they got that in because they did not sleep at all on the flight there. And once we got through security, it was pretty smooth because we just got TSA pre-check. Thank God. I highly recommend that if you're flying with any kind of toddlers because it makes things a lot quicker. You don't have to stand in line as much. So highly, highly recommend. It's very worth it. But once we got past security, there was the Butch O'Hare, I think that's what it's called, the little playground area right outside Terminal 2 at the O'Hare Airport, and I didn't know this existed. This was like a lifesaver. This was so nice. So it's just a little fenced in area where toddlers can just play. There's nothing fancy, but there's just like some bright little like bench area that they can climb on, they can walk on. So that was really a lifesaver for getting the little wiggles out, and just kind of getting them out of the stroller in a contained area, but also then kind of having my kids work up a little bit of an appetite. So then after that, we were able to have them sit in the stroller until we got to our gate, and they kind of picked out their little lunch boxes that I made them. Once we walked past our gate, made sure everything was on time and ready to go, we went to a nearby empty gate and we picked up some French fries along the way. Shout out to Chili's to go. And we ate them at this empty gate, let my kids run around, kind of just look out the window, look at the airplanes, still just less time sitting. We try to have them standing as much as possible before our actual flight so that they can not feel so like keyed up when it's time to actually sit down for the flight. Thankfully, everything was on time there because there is only one direct flight on Spirit Airlines from Chicago to Tampa, which is where we were going, per day. I'm not sure. I'll have to do some research and see if this is different to any other destinations from Chicago on Spirit, but that kind of seemed to be the general theme, is that there just aren't as many direct flights on Spirit. So if we did get delayed, if we did get canceled, we would have had to reroute through a connecting flight, or just try and find a different airline or something like that, which would have been more expensive. The flight went totally fine. There is a little less leg room. The seats might not be as comfortable, but for me, it was about a 3-hour flight, and traveling with toddlers, I feel, especially on an airplane, I feel like you never actually get any of those comforts anyway. You don't really get to enjoy the snacks. You don't really get to enjoy the free drinks and stuff because someone is always climbing all over you, trying to, drink your drink, spilling their drink all over themselves. So for me, I did not feel like I missed anything flying Spirit. I felt like it was totally fine. The legroom felt pretty much the same to me, and the flight went okay, about as normal as it could have gone. The kids had lots of snacks, lots of stickers, lots of screen time, so overall things went very smooth. We weren't delayed, everything was fine, thankfully. The only thing that was a little bit tricky was maybe because we had to take because we decided to only do personal items, we were taking all of our items, all of our bags with us. So they were all shoulder bags too, which was tricky. So we had some stuff, we were able to pretty much keep everything on the stroller. So walking around the airport, it wasn't as big of a deal, but then trying to fold up the stroller, get everything off, manage the kids was a little bit tricky. Thankfully I had my mom there to help me kind of wrangle the kids while I took the bags off and folded up the stroller. But if I were to become like a Spirit frequent flyer, I would definitely invest in one of those rolling personal item sized bags, just because then you don't have to deal with just truly lugging like all of your personal belongings on your back during the actual flight. The only sad thing was after our flight, we gate checked our stroller, we got off the flight and learned that our stroller, the snack tray broke. So we unfortunately now have a broken snack tray, which is very sad. If you know anything about me at all, I live for putting snacks on my kids' stroller trays. That was a big part of the reason I actually even got this stroller. So that was kind of a bummer, but I think we can fix it. And I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen going into this just because of the way that stroller folds up. The snack tray is kind of out there. We didn't put it in a bag or anything. So I'm not too broken up about it, but hopefully we can fix it. And then in the future, I'll just make sure that when I am gate checking that stroller, I'll take off the snack tray or the bar or whatever's on there so it doesn't get broken again. The only other issue I had with Spirit had nothing to do with the flight itself, but it was more just the fact that they don't have any, they only had that one direct flight, nonstop flight from Chicago to Tampa. So if we ran into any issues, it really would have been a struggle to try and find a different flight on Spirit. That was kind of just the biggest hang up for me, and probably why I won't fly Spirit again unless there are more than multiple flights a day. We were supposed to leave Friday morning to come back to Chicago, and I started to see some headlines on Wednesday night late about how the government was, or the FAA was reducing flights and having people cancel a lot of flights, having airlines cancel a lot of flights starting Friday. So that made me very, very nervous because, like I said before, Spirit only has one direct flight from Chicago to Tampa and Tampa back to Chicago a day. So if that one flight got canceled, we would have either had to do a connecting flight or deal with trying to get on a different airline, and that was something that was really making me nervous on Thursday. So I consulted with my husband, my mom on Thursday morning, and we talked about it, and we decided to purchase a one-way United flight back from Tampa to Chicago on Thursday. So we left a day early. Just because flying is hard enough. It's unpredictable enough without throwing the government shutdown into the mix and everything. And luckily we were in the position that we were able to do that. So we just both said, it's not worth the risk. We really don't want to be stuck in Tampa. We don't want to be stuck at the airport all day. We don't want to be dealing with everyone else being stuck, and if the flight was canceled, dealing with all of that, especially, and then with the toddlers and everything, and it's a lot of factors. So we decided not to risk it. We said it's not worth it. We left Thursday. So if I were flying on my own, or maybe even if my kids were a little bit older, we may have decided to just risk it and stick with that flight on Friday on Spirit Airlines. But with my kids, the ages they are, almost 2 and 3, it was not a time for me to push things. So we decided to leave on Thursday, and that was totally fine. We're at peace with that decision. Given that, and I'm usually not flying alone, and my kids right now are very young, it's still, traveling at all is hard with them. So because of that, I don't think I would travel Spirit again. Maybe if there were more direct flights, I would, but for me, the flight, the comfort was fine. It was a short flight, so it wasn't a big deal. And granted, the government shutdown doesn't happen all the time. It probably, hopefully that wouldn't happen again every time we're flying. But with all of that, there are always other factors when we're flying. There's weather, there's other issues. So just given those two things, I think I would probably rather pay a little bit more just to fly on an airline that has more than one direct flight a day. So if you've made it this far in the video, leave me a comment. Tell me if you've flown Spirit before, what your thoughts were, how you deal with flying with toddlers, and thanks for watching. Bye.